Sometimes betrayal doesn't come with proof. It comes with silence. With distance that feels sudden. With a closeness that wasn't there before. And right now, that is exactly what fans are feeling. Confused, emotional, and quietly heartbroken. Because once again, the name Todd Tucker is being whispered. And this time, somehow, Porsha Williams is standing far too close to the chaos. Not long ago, Todd walked away from a marriage people truly believed in. A relationship built on years of struggle, loyalty, and shared history. A love story fans defended, celebrated, and rooted for. But it didn't end with closure. It didn't end with answers. It ended quietly, leaving behind pain that never fully healed. And now, suddenly, there's talk of a new bond. Private appearances. Unspoken closeness. Moments that feel too personal to ignore, yet too unclear to confirm. No statements. No explanations. Just silence, and that silence is screaming. Fans can't help but ask questions that hurt to even think about. How does someone move forward so fast? And why does it feel like old wounds are being reopened all over again? Some say it's nothing. Just friendship. Just coincidence. Others say it's everything that was once feared but never proven. Because sometimes, betrayal doesn't arrive loudly. Sometimes, it shows up slowly, disguised as comfort, familiarity, and smiles that hide too much. There are no facts yet. No confirmations. Only speculation, emotional unease, and a growing storm. And the most painful part is this: some stories don't begin with explosions. They begin quietly, breaking hearts long before the truth ever comes out. The story doesn't begin with a scandal. It begins with silence. A kind of silence that feels heavier than words, louder than accusations, and more painful than truth itself. Fans felt it before they could explain it. Something was off. Something familiar, yet frighteningly heartbreaking, was slowly unfolding again. Todd Tucker's name started resurfacing in conversations that carried discomfort. Not headlines. Not confirmations. Just whispers. And those whispers didn't come alone. They came with the quiet presence of Porsha Williams, standing close enough to make hearts sink and memories resurface. Only a short time ago, people were mourning the end of what they believed was a solid marriage. Todd and Candy Burris were not just a couple, they were a journey. Years of hard work, public pressure, private struggles, and moments that fans defended fiercely. When that marriage ended, it didn't just break two people apart, it shattered an image fans trusted. Yet even then, people hoped for dignity, healing, and time. Time to process the loss. Time to breathe. Time to grieve what was lost. But healing, it seems, did not follow the timeline fans expected. Because almost immediately, the air shifted. Todd didn't disappear into solitude. There were no long periods of quiet reflection, no visible pause to let wounds rest. Instead, what people noticed felt rushed, unsettling, a closeness that felt too soon and far too sensitive. And when Porsha Williams entered that frame, the discomfort turned painfully emotional. Porsha isn't just another name. She's someone who has her own history of heartbreak, public judgment, and emotional survival. Fans have watched her fall, cry, rebuild, and try again. That's why seeing her linked, even indirectly, to this situation felt like betrayal multiplied. Not just of people, but of empathy. Social media didn't explode immediately. It trembled. Posts were cautious. Comments were conflicted. People didn't want to accuse, but they couldn't ignore the feeling growing in their chest. Why does this feel wrong? Why does this hurt so much? Because it wasn't about proof. It was about timing. About respect. About emotional responsibility. What fans noticed wasn't dramatic behavior, it was subtle. Shared spaces. Familiarity. Comfort that usually comes with time, not aftermath. The kind of comfort that makes people wonder, when did this begin? And worse, did it begin before the ending everyone saw? These questions cut deep, because they aren't gossip for entertainment. They are the kind that reopen wounds for everyone involved, especially those who believed in loyalty. Fans began replaying old moments, interviews, laughs, statements that once felt genuine but now feel painfully uncertain. Was everything real? Or was something already broken long before it was admitted? The sadness didn't come from hate. It came from disappointment. People wanted Todd to grieve. They wanted growth. They wanted accountability, or at least space. Instead, what they saw felt like emotional replacement. And replacements hurt, especially when scars are still visible. At the same time, Porsha found herself under a harsh spotlight. Not because she confirmed anything, but because silence can sometimes speak louder than denial. Fans didn't want to believe she would step into something so fragile, so unresolved. Yet the absence of clarity allowed imaginations to run wild, and emotions to spiral. Some viewers defended her. They said it was unfair. They argued this was just friendship, coincidence, overanalysis. But even they couldn't fully shake the unease. Because even friendships have boundaries, especially when hearts are still bleeding in the background. The most heartbreaking part is this: nobody looks villainous on the surface. No shouting. No scandals caught on camera. Just a slow emotional collapse happening in public view, one observation at a time. And that is why this hurts more than loud drama ever could. Because when things fall apart quietly, people suffer silently. Fans are torn between empathy and suspicion. Between wanting to believe the best and fearing the worst. Every smile now feels questionable. Every absence feels intentional. Every shared moment feels heavy with unspoken history. And somewhere in all of this, there's a question that no one wants to ask out loud, but everyone feels deep inside. Was the ending really the end, or just the beginning of something even more painful? This is not a story of confirmed betrayal. It's a story of emotional damage in progress. Of trust shaken before truth arrives. Of people watching something unfold without knowing whether to look away or brace themselves. One thing is undeniable: whatever this bond truly is, it has already done one thing beyond repair. It has broken hearts. The pain didn't stop where the story paused. If anything, it only grew heavier. Because once hearts are cracked open, every small detail feels sharper, louder, more personal. Fans didn't just move on after the whispers began. They started watching. Closely. Emotionally. Almost desperately. As if understanding the truth could somehow soften the hurt already settling in. Every appearance began to matter. Every smile felt examined. Every moment of silence felt intentional. Todd Tucker, once seen as a man grounded in commitment, suddenly appeared distant, emotionally unavailable in a way that unsettled even his strongest supporters. People weren't angry at first. They were confused. They wanted to understand how someone could walk out of something so deep and seem untouched by the weight of what was lost. Because when love ends honestly, there is grief. There is visible pain. There is space. And fans struggled to see any of that. Instead, what they saw felt like avoidance. Like running forward without looking back. And then there was Porsha. Porsha, who knows pain. Porsha, who has cried in public, been torn apart by media, rebuilt herself with strength people admired. That's what made this hurt differently. Fans weren't just disappointed, they were heartbroken. Because they expected her to understand boundaries, timing, and emotional fragility better than anyone. People began asking questions they didn't want to ask. Was she aware of how raw everything still was? Did she consider how this closeness would be perceived? Or worse, was this bond forming long before anyone was ready to admit it? The comments turned emotional. Not cruel, but heavy. Words filled with betrayal, grief, and disbelief. I don't recognize them anymore. This hurts to watch. Why does it feel like emotions don't matter anymore? And somewhere beneath the noise, there was one silent absence everyone felt: Candy. She wasn't speaking. She wasn't posting cryptic messages or defending herself publicly. And that silence hurt people more than words ever could. Because silence often signals exhaustion. It suggests pain so deep that even explaining it feels unbearable. Fans imagined her alone, processing loss, betrayal, and public speculation all at once. A woman who built a life, defended her relationship, and now had to watch narratives form without her voice being present. Whether those narratives were true or not didn't matter anymore. The emotional damage was already done. What broke people the most was realizing that closure never really came. There was no clear ending before a new chapter appeared to begin. And when beginnings overlap with endings, someone always gets emotionally crushed in between. They say time heals. But what if time was never given? Each new sighting, each rumor, each unverified detail reopened wounds. Fans weren't watching celebrities anymore. They were watching human pain unfold in slow motion. And that's why people couldn't look away. Because it felt real. Messy. Unfinished. Supporters split into sides, but even arguments sounded tired. No one felt victorious. No one felt entertained. This wasn't drama for fun, it was sadness wrapped in curiosity, confusion wrapped in disbelief. People wanted someone to say, "This is not what it looks like." They wanted reassurance. A pause. Anything that suggested emotional awareness. But what they got instead was uncertainty, and uncertainty is a cruel thing when hearts are already fragile. The most haunting part of this story is not what is known, it's what isn't. No confirmations don't always bring peace. Sometimes they make suffering worse. Because when there's no truth to hold on to, the mind fills the gaps with fear. With worst-case scenarios. With emotional betrayal imagined in vivid detail. And that's where fans are stuck now, between hoping they're wrong and fearing they are not. This doesn't feel like a scandal yet. It feels like the quiet before something irreversible. The kind of quiet where everyone senses impact has already begun, even if the explosion hasn't happened. Because some relationships don't end loudly. Some betrayals don't need proof. Some heartbreaks begin the moment respect fades. One thing becomes painfully clear, whether this bond is innocent or not, the emotional cost is already real. And the longer the silence stretches on, the deeper the damage runs. And hearts? They are still breaking. By now, the emotional weight of this story is no longer speculative, it's suffocating. Fans aren't just observing from a distance anymore. They feel involved, wounded, pulled into a narrative that refuses to give them clarity. What once felt like quiet concern has now turned into collective grief. And grief, when unanswered, turns into something darker. People began revisiting the past with painful precision. Old interviews. Old laughs. Old promises that once sounded sincere but now echo with doubt. Moments that were celebrated before are now dissected with trembling hearts. Every word Todd ever spoke about loyalty. Every time Candy defended their marriage. Every moment Porsha warned others about emotional boundaries. Nothing feels safe from re-evaluation. And that's the cruelest part of unresolved endings. They poison memories. Fans started asking questions that feel almost unbearable. Was anyone else aware of this bond forming in the background? Were their emotional lines crossed long before the marriage officially ended? Or is this simply a tragic coincidence, misunderstood and exaggerated by wounded outsiders desperate for answers? The silence surrounding these questions has been devastating. Todd continues forward, outwardly composed, yet emotionally distant. That distance hurts people more than anger would have. Because anger signals guilt or defense. Detachment signals indifference. And indifference feels like the deepest betrayal of all. Meanwhile, Porsha's presence in this unfolding story grows heavier. Not louder, heavier. She doesn't explain. She doesn't deny. She simply exists near the narrative, and that alone is enough to cause pain. Fans don't want to hate her. They want to understand her. They want reassurance that empathy still matters. But understanding requires transparency, and transparency is nowhere to be found. People are exhausted. Not from gossip, but from empathy overload. From carrying emotional weight that doesn't belong to them, yet somehow feels personal. Because many see their own stories in this one. Failed marriages. Poor timing. Emotional replacement. Being forced to heal while watching others move on without pause. This story has touched a nerve because it mirrors real-life heartbreak. Candy's absence continues to loom like a shadow over every development. Her quietness feels deliberate, not because she has nothing to say, but because she's protecting herself from further emotional harm. Fans imagine her nights filled with unanswered questions, with moments where strength feels performative and loneliness feels endless. They don't need confirmation to feel her pain. They recognize it. And that recognition is what makes this so devastating. Because when pain is familiar, it spreads. The world demands proof, but emotions don't wait for evidence. They react to patterns, to timing, to energy. And the energy surrounding this situation feels undeniably wrong to those watching with open hearts. Some still cling to hope. Hope that everything has been misunderstood. That explanations are coming. That this bond, whatever it is innocent and poorly represented. But hope is thinning. Because hope needs reassurance to survive. And reassurance has never arrived. Instead, the distance grows. The silence stretches. The emotional fracture deepens. What once looked like a potential misunderstanding now feels like betrayal in slow motion. Not explosive. Not dramatic. Just relentless. Quiet. Eroding. Fans aren't asking for confession or confrontation anymore. They are asking for compassion. For acknowledgement. For someone to say, "We see the pain this is causing. We didn't mean for this to hurt you." But kindness, too, seems absent. This story no longer lives in speculation alone. It lives in emotional aftermath. In disappointment that feels too heavy to ignore. In the realization that sometimes, people don't protect hearts, they protect convenience. And that realization is devastating. As the third chapter closes, one harsh truth becomes unavoidable. Even if nothing improper is ever proven, even if this bond is entirely innocent, the damage is already done. Trust has cracked. Respect has weakened. Hearts have bruised. And that's what will be remembered. Because some wounds aren't caused by actions alone, they're caused by silence, timing, and the emotional weight of what could have been prevented but wasn't. This story is no longer about gossip. It's about grief. Friends, here's the question for all of you. Are you ready to face the truth? This story isn't just rumors or gossip. It's a tale of hidden emotions that break hearts silently. When the shocking news of Todd and Porsha's mysterious new bond surfaced, fans weren't just stunned. They felt their hearts skip, shatter, and ache at the same time. These are the moments that make you tear up, moments that leave you breathless, and today, we've brought them straight to you. Just think about it. Someone's trust, someone's love, and suddenly, a hidden reality comes crashing down. Is this the real story of Todd's heart, or just a carefully built facade? What about Porsha's pain that the media kept under wraps? Will it finally see the light of day? These questions linger in all of our minds, and the tension, heartbreak, and viral-level drama will grip you so tightly, you can't let go. We're not just here to gossip. We're taking you deep into the raw, hidden emotions, where every smile hides a tear, every bond carries a tension, and every viral moment has a secret truth behind it. Now it's up to you. Will you face the reality, or remain lost in the world of rumors? Tell us in the comments, what do you think? Is this all just media hype, or is there something much darker beneath the surface? Like, share, and show your friends this heartbreak and mystery. And don't forget to subscribe, because this story has only just begun. The next chapter could break you, shock you, and leave you speechless with revelations you never expected.